Hello friends, this is Jasu Bakuhatsu, and welcome to Let's Play Deep Duck Trouble, starring Donald Duck. This is one of a few games that I owned on the Sega Game Gear when I was a kid, but I'm going to be playing the Sega Master System version of the game instead, as part of a sort of ongoing effort for me to basically get better acquainted with the Master System. It's a console that I basically know nothing about, other than what I've heard from various mostly British YouTubers that I follow, who, are big fans of the system. But as for me, Master System, never heard of it as a kid, never heard of it until, like, relatively recently at all, really. But, apparently very popular in Britain and Brazil, also, apparently. A system I'm not at all familiar with, really never played it, any games on it before, other than Game Gear ports of Master System games. So, here we are then, as a result, playing Deep Duck Trouble on the Master System. Right off the bat, I've got to say, this is actually a really impressive looking game, and I've actually noticed that from a lot of other Master System games that I've seen videos of, and I'm familiar with based on my experiences with the Game Gear versions of Master System games. It just seems to be a lot of Master System games just seem a lot more graphically impressive than frankly just about any NES games that I've encountered. So here we are on the level select screen, kind of like the DuckTales game. As far as level selection, you've got a few different stages you can go through in any order. In fact, this game has a lot of superficial similarities to the DuckTales games on the NES. This game isn't really quite as good. Not exactly a classic in the same... Not really in the same ballpark of quality as those games, but nevertheless, a nice little game that I thought was... A nice little game from my childhood, even, that I thought was kind of worth sharing. So apart from the level selection bit there, another similarity is you've got this sort of core mechanic revolving around kicking these blocks, which basically works very similar to the way it did in the DuckTales games, where you can just kick blocks around. Some blocks go up in the air, some of the blocks go along the ground. So they've got that in common, but on the other hand, this game doesn't have the pogo bounce that the DuckTales games had, which is like kind of a major difference. It's like, it's Deep Duck Trouble, it's kind of like DuckTales, only without the pogo bounce, and it's like, really, it's like DuckTales without the pogo bounce? What is there left after that? And the answer is, kind of a bog standard 2D 8-bit platformer, but nevertheless, a pretty good one. I did play this just recently in preparation for the LP. I played the Game Gear version on my Game Gear, but and we had a nice little interlude there with the ostriches. And again, very impressive looking. Just a lot of the sprite work is very, very detailed, and a lot of different colors used compared to much of what I'm used to seeing on the NES. And one common thread I've seen from on a lot of, at least the Game Gear games that I owned back in the day, is that a lot of them very, very short. So we're halfway through stage 1 so far. That was scene 1. Each of these 4 levels will have 2 scenes. So we're halfway through the first level already. And so this is the biggest problem I have with the game right now, or not the length before, but rather the slowdown. So I was just talking about how impressive looking this game is as far as, all the colors and the graphical detail, but comes at kind of a severe price, and that's exhibited more so in this level than anywhere else, where it's, you can see the game really, really slows down here, and this occurs on the Game Gear version as well, although not quite as severely. I guess the lower screen resolution would have helped with that, since it has less, fewer pixels to display. I guess we'll get into that later, but the Master System version especially in this level is worse than any other as far as slowdown goes, and it's kind of a shame, because it's like you take kind of a perfectly good but nevertheless kind of standard generic platformer, and you add in a ton of slowdown, and it kind of ruins the experience a bit. Like, it doesn't ruin the whole game. Like I said, this is only in certain levels. But, yeah. And as I understand, this isn't just an emulator issue either. It's, yeah, this slowdown did occur on the original hardware from as far as I've investigated. And so, it's kind of a shame, because, like, I can see the reason why this slowdown is occurring. It's not just, like, the level of graphical detail, but also it's just, like, the size of the levels is the thing that affects it the most. Like, this is a very big level. You've got, like, you know, the treetops you can go through. There's also a lower route, and I have no idea how to get up to that treasure chest. It's like, the leaf, riding the leaf won't take you far enough. It's just, yeah, no idea how to get that. Presumably there's a 1-up or something. Anyways, here we are. At the end of the level, basically, we've got a boss. Yeah, of course, it's a video game. Each level has to have a boss fight, except the boss fights aren't really boss fights per se, and that gorilla looks like a cyclops or something from this angle they drew him on. But yeah, instead of fighting the bosses in this game, you have essentially chase sequences where it's, yeah, basically auto-scrolling running segments where you're just dodging obstacles. And this is all there is to it, actually. You don't damage the bosses at all. It's just you sort of run away. And then at the end of the running segment, after a certain amount of distance has been covered, something happens and you win. And so that's all there is to it. It's basically just a survival thing, which is kind of strange. Like, I can't really think of a lot of games that did this back in the day. And yeah, I don't really know why they felt the need to do it this way. Like, I think there are some interesting things you could do for boss fights, as far as, you know, with the block kicking mechanics and you know, bouncing off enemies' heads and all that. It's just very strange that they decided to do it this way. But, you know, nevertheless. And also it's kind of weird how Donald keeps looking behind him, even though the gorilla is, like, ahead of him. Whoop! Okay, that's a dick move right there. If you jump at the wrong time, the falling berry will catch you while you're in midair before you can react to it at all. And you end up dying as a result, getting caught behind. But, yeah, this should be the end of the level. Gorilla rams into a tree, and yeah, we get our jungle crown. And yeah, the plot of this game is actually, or not really the plot, but the objective of this game is also very similar to the DuckTales games, in that you're, yeah, basically just going around collecting treasures. Although, with that said, instead of collecting treasures, it's like, I don't know if you guys were even paying attention to the plot at the beginning there. Basically, we need to collect all of these treasures so that we can return a treasure that Scrooge took, and it cursed him, so now we have to return it, and we have to collect these treasures. Oh, it looks like it's recommending the volcano next. Anyways, I'm probably not going to bother breaking these up into, like, this LP into, like, one video per stage or anything like that, because, you know, the stages are very short, and this is a very short game. But, you know, if it says volcano, I'll go volcano.